What's up guys, welcome back to another My Motion Graphics tutorial. My name is Gustavo Maia and today in this video I'm going to show you what is motion drop and how to use it, how to use it properly, and what are all of its features and why are they there and what do they do. So not a specific tutorial on how to do it specifically something, just to show you the tool that I've created. And if you don't have the tool already, I suggest you go and download it for free. So go ahead and go to mymotiongraphics.tv and make sure to download it in the download section. Install it. You have some instructions there alongside with the file, so make sure to install it and then get ready to rumble. Alright, now, so what is motion drop? Well, have you ever seen this kind of effect where you have these crazy splines or crazy lines, sweep lines, I don't know how to call them, that move around the scene and kind of fly by some objects, or maybe very useful for transitions, for example, and a lot seen in motion graphics. So to give you an example, let me show you this. Okay, so I'm guessing that you already know what I'm talking about, right? No, it's not the text. It's this kind of things over here flying around, and they actually give a lot of movement, and they're being used a lot in motion graphics, in 3D, even in 2D. So there's a lot of ways to do this, and it's actually nothing really new. But the tool itself, it lets you create this in a really easy way, and with a huge amount of randomness that you can actually create, because before probably you would have to create each single line, and it's kind of boring and not very intuitive. And this way, with this tool, you can create this very easily. And another thing, that after creating this tool and while I was creating it, I kind of made some experiments, and actually it's very interesting to make some other stuff with this. So whoops, so let's get started. Okay, so here we are in Cinema 4D. If you have installed already your motion drop, go into your content browser, and on presets you'll find this folder. So this folder, MG motion drop. So just open that up and double click on the icon. If you head to frame 0 and press play, this is what you get. Okay, this is what we get. And what's happening here? So let's go into our objects tab and check. So we have motion drop. Okay, motion drop has a lot of parameters and a lot of tabs, and I'm going to explain to you every single one of them, or maybe not every single one of them, but the most important, I guess. The most important. Okay, so to start off, let's just bring our attributes browser over here. Okay, and just slide this over there so we can have more room in our attributes window. Okay, so first of all, generator. As you can see, we have what we have here. We have this little thing called drop. Okay, it's moving around this circle over here, or this point over there. That's it's the center of the scene, but it's actually the center at the same time, the center of motion drop. So if you move it to the left, for example, it will follow this point and kind of rotate around the point or the middle axis of motion drop, and not our scene. Okay, so don't be confused with it. Next, what can we do? We can add another motion drop, another drop, but let me tell you what's happening here. There's this thing that's kind of circling around this point at a distance of 100 centimeters on a speed of 0.3 and with a seed of 0. So if I increase the distance, for example, if I duplicate the distance, we will have the same movement, but the distance will be longer, therefore the speed of it moving, it will also increase. Okay, to show you a better example of it, let me just increase to 1000, and obviously I need to zoom out, and now it's making the same movement but way bigger. Okay, so therefore it's going really it's going faster. Okay, now let's go back and set this to 100. 100 is okay. And if we add another drop, there you have it. This drop will rotate around the tip of the previous one instead of this point over here, the center of the object. So this one will kind of rotate around this tip over here. So if I reduce this to 0, they will be overlapping with each other. See? If I increase this a little bit more, it will kind of rotate, and it's hard to see because of the colors. Let me just increase this a little bit more. It will rotate around the previous one. Okay, so let's set this to 100 again, and you can add up to 6 motion drops. Okay, and they are all rotating around the previous one, right? Now we can as well change the speed of each single one. So if my first drop moves at this speed, this can move, for example, at this, and maybe that's too much. The last one can be a little bit freaked out, so alright. Now it's moving, and this is our seed, so if you change the seed, you will have different movements. Now obviously all of them are depending on the first one, so every single drop, except for the first obviously, every single drop from 2 to 6 will be a child of number 1, and the 3 will be a child of number 2. So if you change the seed of this first one, the movement of them all is going to change. And if I change the seed of the second one, so change the seed of the second one will move differently, and the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth will, because they follow the first one, the second one will follow along and also change their the way that they move. Anyway, let's just randomize everything, and as you can see, there's a huge amount of possibilities over here. Okay, with these distances, with these speeds, and these seeds, we can get a lot of different results, and I'll leave that up to you. What more? Important stuff. Check. Let's talk about mesh. So mesh is another tab right here, and before I kind of show what this radius, tail, and shape are, let me just go back, or skip this up for a minute and go into resolution. Now let's change our display type to constant shading lines, and you can see we have a really low poly version of our mesh, or of our motion drop, and you can increase this over here. So just by pushing the slider to the right, we can increase our resolution and then get a really smooth objects flying around. Pretty cool, huh? I like it. Okay, now before I explain to you guys the rest, let me just show you a little example of something really cool that you can do with this. So let's create a cloner. Let's bring the motion drop inside the cloner. And now with the cloner selected, let's hit radial in mode and look at it. It's beautiful. So let's go into let's go into our first frame and press play. Now if you increase the length of your timeline, for example. This will go on and on and on, and I could stay here and look at it for, I don't know, for how long. But the thing is that you can change these settings, and like in generator, and immediately you'll see several differences. Take a look. Now obviously this is probably not, but really looks a little bit freaked out, too much freaked out. Okay, and let's just let me show you some renders I've done with this. So this is obviously still image, but you can get these effects like this one and this one. And the one interesting thing, it's all 3D, so if you move around the object, it's 3D. Come on, beautiful, right? Okay. Now you can change the materials and everything, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now let's just take this off our cloner and delete our cloner, and let's talk about okay, so where were we? Inside mesh. Okay, radius pretty obvious. If I duplicate this value, let's say from 20 to 40, you will get some thicker drops. So let's push this a little bit further, 80, and now you have even bigger drops, so different type of look. Again, you can change the resolution. I recommend using a low, kind of medium low resolution. If you want something really smooth, that's okay, but just increase this value right before the render. It's kind of, it will help you, I think, because if you have too much information alongside with your scene, with your render settings pushed up and everything, it can get, or even cloners, it can get a little bit heavy, but I haven't had problems yet, so this is just a good tip. Good tip for everything in 3D. Keep it low, okay? And pump it up in the end as needed, so just don't pump everything up. Gotta drink some water. Okay, now this is the radius. Let's bring this down a little bit to maybe 40, and let's check the tail. So the tail is the length of these drops, and I've mentioned before, if the drops move fast, they will look faster, they will look longer. But and if they move slowly, the tail will look shorter. But anyway, you can, however, increase or decrease the size over here of our tail, and as you can expect, you'll get longer drops, like so. Look like snakes or whatever. Let's bring this back to 30, or maybe 10 will be enough. Alright, now the shape basically is the shape of the drop. Let's take a look at this one, for example. So let's go into our generator and unhide all the others. So going back to mesh, and just take a look at this. Let's look from here, maybe it will be easier. Okay, if you change this, so this is the shape of our drop, okay? Probably nothing new to you, but anyway, I have to explain it. So if you change this shape, your drop will actually look different. For example, you have, if you right click on it, you have some presets. Let's hit linear, for example. And linear, what you have is this. You can double click on it. Okay, now let's just undo that. Okay, let's undo that. Okay, if you command click on the spline, you can add some dots that then you can tweak around like a Bezier spline and kind of give I don't know why would you want this, but I can guess. Anyway, pretty interesting results. Let me just undo that and move on. Okay. What next? Follow path. Follow path is very important and probably the main reason why this tool was built. Now, this is all very funny and all, but let's just bring everything to 0 on the first frame, and then let's press play, go into our generators and activate the remaining drops. Okay, now let's go into our top view and create a spline. So Bezier, bring this way up, and let's create a simple spline. Great. Now let's add some keyframes. But before that, let's just rename this spline. So motion drop path. Select motion drop and go into your follow path. Now bring this path inside the spline path. Push this back, and the spline, the motion drop disappears. It disappears because it is in the beginning of our spline. Okay. Now, if you animate this position, let's say in our first frame we have 0, and on our around here 300, so we will have 100. Command click to add a keyframe. Push it back, play, and there they go. Pretty cool, right? Great. Now maybe this spline is too big, maybe this spline is too small, but let me just bring this back over here. Okay. And the speed that they're moving with the spline is actually from stopped, kind of has a speeds up and then goes fast and then slows down, and that's because our animation that we created here, it has this easy ease stuff. So to correct that, if you want a linear movement from start to end, go to animation, show F curve, and it will have this graphic over here that right now doesn't show anything. Not exactly sure. So animation, show F curve, and there you have it. Okay, now we're looking at the curve from the position from this parameter here. Okay, and as you can see, it stopped and then kind of starts speeding up, and then it goes fast, and then it slows down until it stopped again. What we want in this case is to select everything and just click over here and make our animation linear. So from 0 to the end, every single frame, the object will move at the same speed. Okay, you can close this for now and press play again. As you can see, there's no acceleration going on. There's no speeding up and slowing down. It's just there. Okay. Now we can again decrease the size of the spline a little bit, maybe like so. Press play, and then you have it. There you go. Now obviously again you can increase the tail, for example, from 10 to maybe 30. Push it back and press play. It's going wacko. But you get the point. Okay, so let me show you another thing, which is the render tab. So let's hit play. Let's take a look at where they are. Okay, the render tab. So the render tab has these two basic settings, which are the object is seen by global illumination and the object is seen by ambient occlusion. So let me show you some examples over here. This is the object, so the motion drop inside a cube, and it's being affected by global illumination. It's being seen by global illumination, which means that because the materials over here, they have luminance, this means they transmit color, they transmit light, and there's no lighting in the scene except for the motion drop. Okay, so the motion drop is a source, is light source. Also, we have ambient occlusion over here. As you can see, there's some ambient occlusion going on, so you have a better sense of volume. Sorry, which actually gives a very interesting result. And this is another example, but this time we have some different colors and we have some reflections going on. Now, be cautious with reflections because they will take longer to render. So anyway, another example. This scene we have, we don't have the cube around it, but we have the motion drop with global illumination, and it lightens up the scene. Basically it's just our floor, but we have some reflectiveness, and we have actually, let me show you this file. So I think it's this one, not this one, this one. Okay, we have this plane over here, but this plane over here, you can't see it in the render, and it doesn't create light, so it's not being affected by global illumination, but still it still makes some reflections, and I'll make some tutorials on how to make exactly this and that, just to show you the looks that you can get with motion drop. Okay, next example, it's the same image, but now we have ambient occlusion, and as you can see from the first one to the second, we have a better sense of volume, and that's due to the ambient occlusion. Okay, I'm really thirsty today. Now this is regarding the render tab over here, and you can check and uncheck these parameters to have or don't have ambient occlusion or global illumination affecting this motion drop. Okay. Now what's left? What's left? I really had to make a list, you know, because there's so many things. I really need a list. Okay, materials. Great. So you have a folder right here on your texture tab, on your materials window, sorry. You have a folder called My Motion Drop. And let's go back into our motion drop. There you go. Every single one of this material is already applied to each one of these drops. So to change the material, you can simply select the material and obviously change it as you like. All the materials come with the luminance channel checked and nothing else, but you can, however, activate the color, the luminance. The reflection already has this kind of pre-Fresnel that everybody uses. Obviously you can change, however, all of the settings and so on and so forth and so on and so whatever. Anyway, and if by accident you want, or you know, by chance you want to bring another material into the scene or create another one that's none of this, and then add it to each one of these drops, if maybe you have a material that's already done and you just want to drag it into motion drop, no problem. You just open up this plus over here and you can see each one of the drops and where you can add your texture tag. Okay, so that's it about materials. Now Phong, it's kind of cool, and I had to put this almost in the end of the process of creating this this thing right here. So if you go into mesh and then just decrease the resolution, and I have a file over here, I think it's this one, yeah. Okay, so this friend over here, it's motion drop with the resolution set to 0. And by the way, you can crank it up to 100, and you can even crank it up higher, which I don't recommend because, as you can see, it's pretty crazy. It will crash your computer eventually. Now, if we set it to 0, we can get a low poly interesting look. But the thing is, if you render it, you'll get something like, let me show you this example, this. And what's happening is, at first it might look cool, but you don't have this these differentiations from this polygon and this polygon is kind of smooth over here, and we want sharp results. So for that, let's just go into our Phong tag and just decrease this angle to 0, and then we have this that really looks low poly as we might expect it. Anyway, this was our first one and our second one, and you can clearly, I hope you can clearly see the difference. Now, almost done, and the best was kept for the end, which is one, you can animate everything. So I guess pretty much everything. You can animate each one of these parameters and kind of making the drops appear from the center. So imagine this all up to 0 or all down to 0, and then animate them to this distance, and then animate the speed and animate this, the seed probably not, but the radius, I don't know, so many things that you can animate, and the radius, the tail kind of grows and shrinks and whatever. But the best thing is that you have an enable dynamics over here in mesh, and everything's pretty much done. You just need to grab some other objects, and there's plenty of tutorials about dynamics. I made one myself. It's called Dynamic Chain. I suggest you go and check it out to learn a little bit more about dynamics. But I have an example over here, which is not this one, but this one. Okay, so what we've got here is basically a cube and the spline animated, and this cube is a cloner. This cloner has cubes, and these cubes are arranged in a grid array. So I'm guessing that you already know about this. And obviously, when you move the motion drops around, or when you move them and make them intersect the clones, nothing happens. But if you just check, if you just go into your motion drop and over in mesh, enable dynamics, get ready because it's gonna break. Yeah, and pretty cool, huh? So obviously you can get some pretty interesting results with this. Again, reflections over here might take a while, so but that's, you know, general rule for 3D. So reflections, they might take a while, but here are two examples, and this scene and this scene both are being lit by the motion drops only, so there's no light whatsoever. That's it. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. Make sure you have motion drop. Go into mymotiongraphics.tv, download it from there. And then please make some comments, send me your feedback, tell me what you think about it, if it's if you like it or not, if you kind of made something out of it, and if you did and you think it's cool, then why not send it to me? So get in touch with me and just show me what you did. I'm actually thinking about making kind of a show reel with stuff that people send me, and then upload it, obviously with credits for every single person that actually made that video possible. but this is the tool, so this is not a specific tutorial. Once again, this is the tool, and this is to show you guys what it does and how it works. And I don't know, just show me your experiments, show me your stuff. Maybe if you use it for a commercial project, no problem, just show me. I'm curious about what you could achieve with that. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.